let's jump to a question here from Yuling Mok. I'm just reading the screen name, so that's probably not your real name. But the question is, how does sub and supraglottic pressure help singers to smooth out breaks and the bridges?
Oh, that's a nice one. I always say around um, when we go from what people sometimes like to call their chest voice into their mixed, I will always say la to sol. I use very old 1500s, year 1500 method, the Goidonian hand, for this. And I think that these sounds can really help us with these breaks a lot, by referring to them as the sounds that they use for going up in pitch, really.
So
Um,
what are those sounds again? Can you say those
yes.
slower?
So instead of do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, or si, do, then it's la, sol, fa, mi, re, ut, and then fa, mi, depending on how long you want that line to be. Um, I have had some students who've been taught the Goidonian hand before as well, and they were um, not. I don't know. I've tested it at least in many ways, I guess. So I found at least like six different ways to use it, but it's really a good way to handle those breaks, to keep your voice together and not just keep on breaking on them. Um, yeah,
Do
it's
you
at least.
have do you have any exercise that you find yourself using repeatedly that tends to help singers to optimize the sub and supraglottic pressure to help them keep the voice going or work through that bridge zone? That's a question again. What exercise would Zurin recommend that I can train my coordination on?
Well, take one at a time, really. You know, we can of course practice both as much as we can, but use that ut a low. What our imagination, because of how we hear things as well, all of us knows how a operatic singer sounds to some extent, right? If we think about that low male voice, you instantly have an imagination for what that sounds like. And sometimes I just say, be the biggest guy in the universe, and then, or Galaxis or something like that, depending on what they like. Um, and think that is your heavy subglottic chest voice type of a sound. And then your supraglottic could be Justin Timberlake pop bands that's super soft as Backstreet Boys at points, and figure this out, or um, use the word glamour. So you're more on the musical theater type of a thing, of the side of the spectrum first, and even them out, figure out when it's most needed for what. We will always brighten up our tone when going up in pitch, so you're already increasing your supraglottic a little bit when going up, but and if we don't, then it will break. If you lower your voice too much, it's just going to break around that A or G after the middle C. So that's at least what I see a lot of the time.
Okay, so you're basically recommending now. Let's say because you're talking about the different, basically different vowels, right, in this do re mi fa sol la, and the Gregorian hand. So, are you recommending that they're just you train one vowel up and down at a time?
So, for example, if we go in from the octave before it and go into the next, or we can just do it down here. So these first two will be la sol. So we get that correct closure to some extent. We can of course la. I just think that sol is going to be easier when we come higher up, because la sol, we get much more of that brightness that's waiting on us. There, instead of, if we use the do re mi one, then on the next do, what you're doing, you're not singing this pitch, you're singing this, and that's what I see a lot of the time being the issue with that approach, keeping too much lowness from the beginning. I
Mm.
personally think that their gestures were more correct for voicing.
All right, thank you for that.